We are live from the Vendasta headquarters in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Today is Thursday, September 19th, and in today's webinar, we'll be talking about Mono website. We launched Mono last week, September 12th, and we are so excited about this partnership. I am Cam, Product Marketing Manager here at Vendasta, and I'm with the experts from Mono Solutions, Matt Maturgia, Director of Business Development, and Brady Klein, Partner Success Manager. Hello, Matt and Brady. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Hello.
Hi. So yeah, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. We're excited to be here.
Yeah. So just a few reminders for our audience. We will be answering questions toward the end of the webinar. Just type them in the chat box. And if we don't get to them today, I will be personally following up with you after the webinar. I'll also be sending a recording of this webinar to everyone who registered. So yeah, we are also excited to hear about Mono website. So let's get started.
All right. Thank you, Cam. And thanks everyone who joined the webinar today. We're just going to go ahead and share our screen. Give us a shout if you can't see it. My name is Matt Maturgia. I'm Director of Business Development at Mono Solutions. And as Cam mentioned, I'm sitting here with Brady Klein, who's Mono's Partner Success Manager for the Americas.
Hey, everyone.
We've been friends with Vendasta for a number of years. And, of course, while we're excited to finally be partnering with such a great team and be launching in such a robust marketplace, what we're most excited about is the opportunity to start working with all of you guys on the call today. So before we really get into it, I guess the big question is, who's Mono? In short, Mono is the world's leading web presence platform for small businesses. So we create software that's used by some of the largest digital service providers in the world to enable them to help their small business customers succeed online. For a little context, while Brady and I are based in Denver, Colorado in the US, the company is actually headquartered in Copenhagen, Denmark, and was founded in 2007. Back then, we originally actually went to market in a direct model to small businesses. And the goal was to allow small businesses to build their own websites that could look professional, just like large companies. But of course, what we quickly realized is that small businesses still need help. And that's where you guys come in. That's where agencies come in, is to help small businesses that, of course, don't have time, expertise, et cetera, to manage and build their own web presence. So while our vision is to empower small businesses, really our mission is focused on helping you, enabling you guys to actually help those businesses online. And to that extent, our partners have built over 1 million websites on the web platform, and we're excited for you guys to continue growing that number.
All right. So quick agenda for today. This is Brady now. I'm going to talk a little bit about why websites matter today. And then I will jump into a product demo of our platform. And then after that, I'll kick it back to Matt, and he can talk a little bit about selling Mono websites. So why websites matter? I'm going to talk about why they matter to the end consumer, to your clients, the SMBs, and most importantly, to you as an agency. So we're getting used to seeing info like this. All of us are Googling every day for restaurants, product reviews, or if you're like me, mid-2000s Cincinnati Reds rosters. But regardless, we're now finding a lot of our answers on this search engine results page. And according to a Spartoro study, over 50% of all searches end on this SERP page with no clicks, which of course begs that question, do websites still matter? And of course, as website guys, yes, of course they matter more than ever. So let's start with talking about why they matter for the consumer. 63% of consumers used a company website in the last week, and 50% of consumers visit the company website after reading a positive review. And that kind of goes hand in hand with why those websites are important for your clients, the SMBs. 30% of consumers won't consider a business without a website, and 60% of consumers are less likely to buy from a small business that has a bad website. And we've all experienced this. You go to a business's website and it's not mobile friendly, it's tough to navigate, and that really makes it tough to trust that business's product. So the main takeaway here is that good websites provide that trust and authority for the SMB. And all that being said, let's talk about why websites are important for you, the agency. So Mono did a survey last year, and we surveyed all of our partners, and 85% of those that we surveyed said that website clients are higher value clients than non-website clients. And obviously that's because websites are what we call a stickier product for digital service providers. 63% of our partners confirmed that churn rate is lower for customers that use websites. And then lastly, of course, it's that recurring revenue stream that our bank accounts love, and it creates that natural platform for upselling. And, on that note, small businesses also really see the need for websites. There was a Clutch study performed last year, and websites ranked #1 for priorities for what SMBs are going to invest in. So you might be thinking, well, yeah, Mono sells websites. Of course, they think websites are important, but the tech giants agree. Google released a website builder for small businesses. You have Square buying Weebly last year. Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg came out and said that SMBs matter more than ever. And Amazon launched an SMB only storefront. So you can see both the tech giants and us, we all agree that websites are important. So in our efforts to make the platform available to agencies and take over the world, we've partnered with Vendasta, and we are now live in the marketplace. So what's included in our offering? On top of that stunning website and free hosting on Amazon Web Services, our offering also includes on-site engagements, blog, and customers. And all three of those I will hit on in the demo. How do our websites perform? We pride ourselves on best-in-class SEO and page speed, and we were really one of the first in the space to adopt what we call structured data and implement schema.org markup. And that structured data approach has really positioned us perfectly to be ready for that new wave of voice search. And on top of that, more importantly, it helps our partners, you all, build sites efficiently. And speaking of building, we have a quick creator flow that we implemented in the Vendasta platform that really guides the user through the initial setup. It helps you select a template, input business information, set your fonts and colors, and then generate your website. And on that note, let's jump into a demo. So when you activate a Mono website in the Vendasta platform, it will take you to the Quick Creator. And this is step 1 of the Quick Creator. We have a lot of different templates here, and I'll scroll down through a lot of them. A lot of different use cases here, but since I'm going to be building a site for Brady's Taco Shop, I'm going to filter down by restaurants. So we can go in and preview a template. I can see what this template looks like on desktop, tablet, and mobile. I don't really like this one, so I'll go back and maybe check out this one instead, see what this looks like on all the different viewports, scroll through if I'd like. And yeah, I like this one, so I'm going to select that. That'll take me to step 2 here, which is inputting all of my business information. So I'll put in the company name, the email address, the street, zip code, and the city in beautiful Denver. And then I will hit next. It'll take me to a position to select fonts and colors, and then we will go ahead and create the website. All right. So here in the editor, this is where the magic happens. So a couple things I can hit on first. This content tab here, this is where we house all of that structured data that I was referencing earlier. We have everything from simple business information here to opening hours, to structured lists that you can create yourself, as well as video links where you can manage your video library of any embedded YouTube links, or the file manager as well, which is where you can house any number of images that you'd like to use on your site. So now let's jump into the editor itself. So everything in the editor is laid out in rows, columns, and modules. So as you can see, we have rows that are highlighted in yellow. The header is in that magenta. We have columns in blue and modules within them. Everything in the editor is what we call point and click. So let's say we want to edit this text. We click right on that text, change that text, and we're ready to go. Now, this text is also using what we call global design. We can see that up here where this text is using light spot text. And we can go in and look at all of the different texts that we have available. So we have both dark and light, and all of these are laid out and preset at the template level. And the goal with that is to, one, help you. So if you want to go in and edit just one of these text items, you can do that, and it will automatically push onto every spot on the site where you're using that piece of text. And more importantly, these global design elements help out with what we call pre-built rows. So yes, you can go in and build a site from scratch, but since our focus is speed and we want to help you be as fast as you can, we've already pre-built all of these rows for you. So let's say we want to go in, add a new row. We want to add a contact form. I like how this one looks. We'll select this, and that row will be added. Within there, of course, we can update all of the text. The form itself is already embedded. If we want to change this background image, we can do that up here in row. We have all the background settings here. And then, since all of this text is using those global design elements, when we click into tablet and mobile, we can see that all of that text automatically responds. So let me flip back to desktop here, and let me jump into the blog section. So we have a blog section here. All of your blog content can be managed here within the editor. So let's add a new blog post here. We'll say the author is me. Title is New Tacos, since we're still building for my now infamous taco shop. We'll add in some preamble text. Let's say, check out our new tacos. And then for some post content, I can copy and paste some in here. So we have some content in there, and then we can control the visibility as well. So I want that visibility on, so this blog is now live, or you can schedule them ahead of time. And then a featured image. Let me go in here and add a image of tacos. That will upload. I'll add some alt text, and I'll click save. And I was doing that in German, so I have 2 languages enabled on my website right now. So let me do this one more time with new tacos. Check them out. Add that content in there. It will require you to upload them in both languages. So there we go. My blog has been added. It's been saved. It's now in my blog content. And now when I go onto my site, let's say on this homepage, I want to add a call out for the blogs. I'll go in, add a new row. Let's use a text and image. We'll add this pre-built row in here. And then let's say instead of this image, I want to get rid of this. So I'll hover over this, click delete. And now I still have that column there, but no module within that column. So now I can again hover, click add module, go to the blog section and add that blog catalog. And now, as you can see, that blog section is live here. We have the title, the preamble, a link to read more, who the author is, and that image. And again, all of that will respond down to tablet and mobile. And along those lines, we have our customer section, which is what we call it's a CRM Lite. So in this section, you can manage all of your customers, all of your contacts. You can sort them into groups here. And if you have forms on your website, like if I want to add a form here, I can go in, again, add a new row. We have pre-built contact forms. So if we have this form live on your site and someone fills it out, you can have that filter in to forms. And that's about all I really wanted to cover in the demo. So of course, if you have any more specific questions, feel free to reach out. But also when you launch the editor from the Vendasta Marketplace, a video will pop up at first. And that's about a 5-minute video that we have made at Mono. And that gives a great overview of the platform. We'll walk you through the different options. And I think it will really help lay out how this platform is used. So now I will jump back into the presentation. So just an overview real quick, those 5 key time-saving features, what we have built into this platform to help you be more efficient. Global data, that content section with all the business information that will push onto every page onto the site. Global design, where you can set those styling elements for every page on the site, helps all of those texts on different viewports, and it allows you to go in, change colors, change text, and apply that to the entire site, only making one update. Those pre-designed rows that I showed as well, those obviously help you with speed. If you have a vision in your mind and you want to add a new row, go in, add that pre-designed row, and then make any updates from there. Pre-designed page layouts, which I did not show, but similar to pre-designed rows, we have actually that full page already laid out. So you go in, add a new page, and then that already contains pre-designed rows. And again, you can edit from there. And lastly, keyboard shortcuts. We've built this platform with keyboard shortcuts in mind. So again, one other way for you to save time. And lastly, if you need help, if you run into any issues, you have any questions, we have a full-fledged academy available on the editor. It's in a link in the header where you can click a drop-down, click help, and you can search any question that you might have. And now I'll kick it over to Cam to talk about Vendasta's fulfillment option.
Yeah, so I'm just going to jump in here real quick to talk about this. So coming soon will be a fulfillment service by Vendasta. So our marketing services team will build the Mono websites for you or your clients. So with this fulfillment service, you can actually focus on selling while we handle the rest, deliver websites with a quick turnaround, user expertise in website creation, expand your portfolio of services, get superior customer service, and reduce overhead costs. So for everybody listening, stay tuned for more information on this service. We will be offering this really soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Cam. It's Matt again. I wish we were in a live audience so we could give Brady a round of applause for rolling the punches on that demo. Yeah, thank you, Cam. So now you guys see, even with some technical difficulties, how easy it is to build Mono websites. I want to talk a little bit about selling Mono websites. And I'll preface this with the fact that I am sure there are plenty of people on this call that are much better salespeople than I am. So rather than telling you how to sell, my hope is just to arm you guys with some statistics and a little bit of knowledge to make you more comfortable when speaking about Mono websites. So this slide we use a lot when we're out and talking to partners, and I like it because I think it just sums up exactly what Mono does. And if you've gotten sick of us talking about efficiency, it's because that is really what we do. We we want to drive down that cost of building websites so you guys can hit an SMB friendly price point while still remaining really nice margins. And of course, all without compromising on quality. So when we compare this to WordPress, for example, our partners have told us that building on Mono is actually 50% faster. So this can mean a lot of things for your agency. Number one, of course, maybe this means you can sell to a new segment of the marketplace at a lower price point that historically you couldn't sell to without losing money. It also means, on the flip side of that, you can keep selling to the same segment and at the same price point, but of course, double your margins, which is huge. And the other thing that we see as well, since we can be so fast at building, is we even have partners, as Brady mentioned, websites reduce churn. We know that we can upsell off them. So we've even seen partners actually give away the website for free, knowing that they can go ahead and bundle that with some high value services down the line. So, 3 reasons to sell Mono, of course, it's efficiency and profitability, as I mentioned. It's the performance and findability that Brady touched on in terms of SEO and future-proofing the websites. And then naturally, it's hassle-free hosting and security. Not to slam against WordPress by any means, because it's a super powerful platform, but anyone that's sold WordPress sites knows that, the double-edged sword with WordPress is that there can be those security loopholes, especially when it comes to the plugins. So in terms of tactically selling websites, at a simplified level, you're typically faced with 2 scenarios when you're out in the marketplace. Number one, you're either talking to a business that has a website already, but for whatever reason, it's just not cutting it. This is what I call the replacement website. Or the other scenario is, whether the business is just starting up, maybe they didn't have budget, maybe they started on Wix or Squarespace and got frustrated and stopped for whatever reason. They don't have a website at all. And that's what I like to call low-hanging fruit. So, you guys that are in sales, this is when you should be sort of licking your lips, because this is an easy sell. So let's start there. When a business doesn't have a site, we've got 2 statistics here that Brady mentioned at the top of the call. And the first one really resonates with me, and that's that 30% of consumers won't even consider a business without a website. So let that sink in. On top of that, you've got close to 90% of consumers that say websites create credibility. So you've got a huge portion of consumers out there essentially saying, if you don't have a website, you're not legit. I've got money, I'm searching to spend this money, and I'm looking for your website, and you don't have one, I'm going elsewhere, you're sketchy. So I think, to me, that's the number one argument when a business doesn't have a site. The other thing I think you guys are going to run into, of course, is maybe the business pushes back and says, no, I'm good. I've got a Google My Business page, or I've got a Facebook business page. That's good enough for me. I don't need a website. And I think where you want to stress there is, it's not an either or sort of conversation. It's an and it's more so about coupling the value of a website with a Facebook business page, with a Google My Business page, and the story that you can tell there, again, going back to sort of that credibility, is many business consumers are getting that information directly from Facebook, but when they do go to make that extra step to the website, that's kind of the business's spot to shine. It's where the business can really portray the look and feel of their brand. It's where they can look professional, and it's ultimately where they can then convert the consumer. Which is another reason why the on-site engagement feature that we touched on very briefly is super important, because it's all about conversion at that point. And so when you're facing maybe a little bit of pushback from the consumer, one strategy that can be really helpful in that scenario is really playing off that tangibility of websites. And so, coming to that sales conversation with great site samples, or, you know, even building mock-up sites. Brady showed you how easy it is to preview our templates, but even going in and taking that 10, 20 minutes maybe to put in some of that business information and do a quick mock-up, that can be really powerful in a sales conversation, because it helps you paint that picture and that vision for the business. And hopefully it gets you to then engage. You know, when the business owner can see their logo and all these things on the site, then they start to engage in not the, like, I don't need a website, but maybe it's more, wow, that looks cool, but actually I would move this here, or I would change this color. And of course, those are buying signals. Going to the other scenario, the replacement business. You know, if you're in the US like us or other mature markets, there's definitely less opportunities for that no website sale, but that certainly doesn't mean there's no opportunities. I've been with Mono for 5 years myself, and before that, I've sold websites to enterprises. I've actually sold digital marketing solutions and websites to small businesses even before that. And I'll tell you what, I've seen some really bad websites. But more so, even sites that look good, look pretty decent, I can almost guarantee you that there's usually a number of shortcomings with those websites. And so I think that the approach there is a little different. You want to show the business owner areas of improvement. You obviously don't want to insult them. I've definitely seen business owners that, despite what I would call a terrible website, they might love that site. They might not even love it, but maybe their daughter made it for them. So tread lightly. But you know, the goal on this for this scenario is really all about preparation. And so there's a ton of tools available for you. You know, of course, there's a Vendasta snapshot report. When we were in Saskatoon last week for the launch, we ran some Mono websites through the snapshot report. We got great results. So that's a good tool. Google's got some tools like the structured data testing tool, as well as the Google Lighthouse tool and PageSpeed tool. And all those things, what those help you do is it's going to help you find those areas of improvement. And then also, when you come with those specific recommendations to the business owner, it's going to give you that instant credibility as well. So, you know, we've put together on the marketplace page some great collateral. We also have what we call the guide to selling websites, which will, you know, help you work through sort of a flow chart of finding those holes in existing websites. And I really hope you guys are going to be successful going out and stealing websites, because, you know, just hammering down on what the importance is to your agency, as Brady mentioned on the top of the call. Once you get that website, you can go out and keep upselling from there. It's really that foundational piece, and that's why everybody's trying to go after that. You know, even this week we saw Constant Contact launch the website builder. GoDaddy, they released an update to their website builder, and WordPress, they got a $2 billion valuation. So everybody's going after that foundational piece, because we know that you can upsell off of that. So we're going to get into Q&A now. I've seen the little notification bar here popping up, so I know we've got some questions. But also, you know, our marketing team did a great job putting FAQs into that marketplace page as well. So, and we're always available to answer those questions as well going forward as you guys get out and selling. So thanks for everyone's time, and Cam, I'll pass it over to you and see if we've got any questions from the audience.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for that. A very informative presentation. So let's just get into the Q&As right now. So first question is, are there built-in images you can use, such as how Wix does it? I believe they offer all types of royalty-free images directly from Wix or Unsplash.
Yeah, so right now in the marketplace, that we don't have image integrations yet. That's something that we are working on here at Mono. Of course, all the templates have some really rich images in them built in, and you're welcome to use those. You're also welcome to upload images, of course. We have a file manager, and when the websites are actually published, we are doing some cool things in terms of optimizing those images and for the viewports and optimizing everything so that the websites are operating really quickly and doing well in terms of performance.
Sounds good. Okay, so I've got a few questions here around e-commerce. Does Mono website offer e-commerce features?
Yes, the short answer is we do. And of course, the longer answer is it's coming. So we want to get launched in the marketplace first with just a really awesome website solution. So, again, at that $9 a month price point, we're giving you unlimited number of pages, unlimited bandwidth. We're including that blogging tool as well as the website personalization tool and the CRM. So that was step one. Where we see this going forward is we will be launching some of Mono's add-on products. So we do have an e-commerce solution. We also have some conversion tools such as a scheduling and booking tool. So we'll hope to get those into the marketplace. In the meantime, just a general comment on sort of those transactional items and third-party tools that you might be using. Mono does support, we have what we call an HTML module, and we do support HTML as well as iframes and as well as JavaScript. So that covers your bases for just about every third-party tool in the marketplace.
All right. Okay, so I have a question here around SSO. So does it mean that there is only SSO integration now or anything else?
Okay, so I think, and whoever asked that question, feel free to jump in the chat. But what you're asking for is, are you able to log into the Mono editor? It is through an SSO through the marketplace. We have, and that's both partner facing as well as small business facing. I think if I understand the question right, you can give access to your small businesses to make changes to the site.
All right. Okay. Is there a code? Are there code editor modules that would allow us to add custom HTML or embed scripts, etc.?
Yes. So that's exactly what I was speaking to on that e-commerce question. So we do have the HTML editor. Sorry, HTML module. And that covers scripts, JavaScript, that covers iframe as well as HTML. So if you can think of all these things that you guys as agencies might be putting on sites like widgets and chat bots and things like that, you'll definitely be covered there.
All right. Okay. Is SSL included for free on your Amazon servers?
So we're going to be offering, so domains, SSLs, emails will all be offered as an add-on through the Vendasta marketplace. So if you're already purchasing domains through the marketplace, just continue to do so, and those will work with the Mono site. Of course, if you're getting domains elsewhere, or if the small business has their own domain, you will have the opportunity to point those domains to Mono. And everything will work seamlessly as well.
Sounds good. Okay, next question is, do you have image compression for client images that are uploaded in full size?
Yes, so as I mentioned on when we publish sites, specifically on the mobile and the tablet version, we are compressing and optimizing those images. I would say in terms of best practice for the desktop version in particular, I would recommend if it's a huge, 5 GB raw image, it's gonna work, but I would recommend doing some editing on that. We can definitely see that slow down the desktop version.
Okay. Okay, next question is related to the earlier question we had on scripts, such as Jotform, Survey Gizmo. Another related question would be, can we easily create modals or pop-ups that have embedded items?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. So, the on-site engagement tool that we're offering for free, included with all of the Vendasta website subscriptions, what that is essentially is the ability to really easily create pop-ups, interstitials, even just attached on scrolling, all these sort of transactional elements that get people to engage with the business. The way that it works in the Mono system is we have a myriad of those sort of pop-up types. And then we also have a myriad of triggers. So you can define these to engage or pop up based off of things like referring domain, time on site, first visit versus returning visit, even things like timeframes, et cetera. So it's a pretty powerful tool. And of course, going back to sort of the foundation of our platform, utilizing that global data, when you create these things, just like when you're creating blogs and adding other elements on the site, it's going to automatically inherit all of that design automatically so that you don't have to go in and mess around with that kind of stuff. So it's super simple, allows you to get these things out the door and then drive interactions on the site.
Okay. Do you also support API keys?
I'm going to hold off on that. Maybe the person who asked that question can reach out directly so I can get a better understanding of what they're looking for.
For sure. I will give you the contact after the webinar.
Awesome.
Okay. So will website statistics be available through the executive report?
Yes, that's something that we are working on right now with the Vendasta tech team. So what Brady did not show in the demo is we do have a dashboard built into the editor itself that displays all those statistics. We put Google Analytics onto every site automatically. You do have the option to add your own Google Analytics GA code in case, perhaps the business owner already has one. All those statistics will be feeding into Vendasta here in the short future. We just had a little bit of work left on the API integration with the tech teams, but we will be getting that out there.
For sure. Okay, so I have questions around pricing. So what is the wholesale cost and the suggested retail price for Mono?
Yeah, so we're offering it in the marketplace at $9 a month. No setup fees or anything like that. Again, that's unlimited pages, unlimited bandwidth. It's got that on-site engagements tool, the blogging tool, and the CRM all included. That's the wholesale rate. Of course, I would welcome all of the agencies to mark that up. We're all in the business to make money. In terms of suggested retail, it's going to really depend on the go-to-market strategy. If you're offering this as sort of a DIY offering to your SMB clients, which you can, obviously that margin is going to be a little lower to compete with Squarespace, Wix, and some of these other DIY builders. But if you're taking this to market in a turnkey, do-it-for-me solution, we see most of our partners offering anywhere between $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month upfront, and then typically an ongoing fee for hosting and management of that site. So you cover your costs in the beginning, make some nice margins, and then you build in that recurring revenue stream ongoing. And I've seen the market bear anywhere between and I'm obviously speaking to the U.S. That's obviously where I sit, but I've seen that bear anywhere between $40 to $150 plus a month on that recurring revenue. So obviously that leaves a lot of margins to be had, factoring in our $9 fee.
All right. Let's look for other questions here. So what about designing landing pages?
Yep. It's the same editing experience. Nothing's different in the editor, but we do obviously support landing pages. So you can designate pages to be indexed versus non-indexed. And we also do support subdomains for monosites. So if a customer already has a website, you can always put a landing page on a subdomain.
Okay. Let me just see here. Okay, is there a place to add 301 redirects easily, or would we need to handle them through .htaccess if that is an option?
No, that's a great question. So we do have a 301 redirect tool in the editor, and it is pretty seamless and really easy just to manage all of that within the editing experience. So we handle that in our global data section that Brady touched on.
All right. Sorry to jump back, but regarding landing pages, there's just a follow-up question. Are there A/B test options for modules?
So not out of the box, but I'm happy to have this conversation again with this specific agency, because there's definitely some strategies that we can take with the platform, which I don't want to go into too much detail to take up everyone else's time, but happy to have that conversation with this agency if they've got follow-up questions.
We'll get in touch after this webinar.
Yep, awesome.
Perfect. Okay. If for some reason the client were to cancel, are the websites transferable or downloadable?
Yeah, this is another awesome question, right? Because one of the perceptions of WordPress, of course, is that it's portable and you can take it everywhere. I can make the counter argument of why that's not always as simple as advertised. But with the Mono platform, it is a SaaS model, so we are similar to Squarespace or Wix or any of these SaaS companies where essentially you stop paying the platform fee and you don't have access to the site. That being said, the output of a Mono site, it is HTML and CSS, so I'll put that back on the agencies. Most of our partners prefer, if a client cancels, they let the client walk away. But in extreme cases, you can always deliver that client an HTML file, and they'll lose access to the CMS, but they can take that and go host it elsewhere.
Okay. So are there firewalls such as in Wix, etc., that affects Google searches?
No. Mono sites perform very well in terms of SEO. It's a core focus of ours to make sure the platform is performing well. As everyone on this call knows, it's a cat and mouse game with Google all the time on figuring out what works best. But from a performance perspective, I say this with a lot of confidence, you will not find a better platform that performs in terms of on-site SEO in the marketplace.
Okay. Probably one of the last questions we'll have. How are we able to set up the demos for clients with their logos?
Yeah, so, it's just going through, of course, we hit a little hiccup during the demo. I think we let it sit out a little too long without refreshing it. But, when you initiate a site within the marketplace, you'll be taken into that 1, 2, 3 step flow. And you'll be brought right into the editor, and then you'll be able to edit from there.
Okay. I think that's all the time we have. If there are any other questions that are open right now, we will get to you after the webinar. Make sure that we answer all your questions. Thank you, Brady and Matt, for joining us today. That was really a lot of good information about Mono website, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time and everyone's time on the call, and we're really excited to work with every one of you.
All right. So to all our viewers, I will make a recording of this webinar available, including the slides that we just presented. Thank you for attending this week's Vendasta webinar. We will see you again next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for our next webinar. Have a great day, everybody.